So yes, dear children, today we will be teaching you natural vegetation. If you see, natural vegetation refers to the plant community that has been left undisturbed over a long period of time, right? And once, so to allow individual species to adjust themselves to climate and soil condition as fully as possible. Up, if you look at the forest that we have, it says Indian forest can be divided into the following groups: tropical evergreen or semi-evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, tropical thorn forest, montane forest and littoral swamp forest. तो ये 5 टाइप के हमारे पास फॉरेस्ट हैं. अब उसमें से सबसे पहला फॉरेस्ट जो हमें वी हैव टू स्टडी इज द ट्रॉपिकल एवरग्रीन और द सेमी evergreen forest. So what we need to do is to highlight this, and what do we find, that it is present in the areas where there is a lot of rainfall, like in Andaman and Nicobar Island there's a lot of rainfall. So we find this particular type of forest there, where rainfall is above 200 centimeter and temperature is above 22 degrees Celsius. This tropical evergreen forest has got layers which are stratified, and they are very, these trees are very tall, right? And the trees may reach the height of 60 meter. So these are the characters which you have to write in the uh, answer. I will be looking for these words: 222 centimeters, stratified, 60 meter, and there's no definite time for trees to shed leaves because it is a layered structure. So suppose if the upper layer, the tree has shed its leaves, the lower layer will still have, because there are different layers of trees. And suppose if the trees which are 60 meters, they have shed their leaves, then the trees which may be of 40 meters may still have leaves. So whenever you look at the forest appears to be green. And the important trees of this are rosewood, mahogany, ebony, and iron. So you can remember them by the word REM. So here you can see the tropical evergreen trees and how beautifully they are high, and you can see so many trees, the height of the trees. Then further here you can see the climbers are existing, and the layers of trees. In it is totally inaccessible because there's a lot of rainfall happening here. So you can see a lot of trees and a lot of vegetation, all of them existing here. And further, what do we see, that these are the different layers of the trees, which we can see: first layer, second layer, third layer, and the fourth layer. Fourth layer is of the shrubs and bushes. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and 4 layers of the trees that exist in this particular type of forest. Here you can see this particular forest here. This is the forest we are talking about, the tropical evergreen and the semi-evergreen forest. This forest as well as this forest. Here the rainfall is very high. Because the rainfall is very high, this forest is the one which we were discussing, and there are 4 layers that we have done by now. Now further, if you see, go back to the topic, we find uh, the tropical deciduous forest. Now, if you look at the tropical deciduous forest, the tropical deciduous forest, I will mark it for you. This is an important heading. Tropical deciduous forest. Here, the rainfall is between 70 to 200 centimeter. And what do we find? That the tropical deciduous forest is divided into 2 parts. Now, how do I show it to you? This particular is the tropical deciduous forest. This particular region is the tropical deciduous forest. In this, the rainfall, if you draw a line here, if you can, then what you will see, that here the rainfall is more, here the rainfall is a bit less. So here and here there are 2 types, and the same thing are being shown in the deciduous forest: moist deciduous and dry deciduous. So the deciduous forest again is divided into 2 parts: the moist deciduous and the dry deciduous. The moist deciduous has rainfall from 100 to 200 centimeters, and the trees are teak, sal, sesam, hurra, mora, amla, sesam, and kusum. So we can make a word, and we will let you. You can remember that in the moist deciduous forest, teak जो है सालों साल उगती है, teak and sal. You can easily remember. And sesame also is a very good tree if you remember. It's a very good and costly tree, teak, sal, sesame. And these are the trees of the moist deciduous forest, rainfall 100 to 200. And then we move to the dry deciduous forest. And dry deciduous forest, if you see, the rainfall is 70 to 100 centimeters. And it has got lesser rainfall. As I told you in the map, okay, rainfall keeps reducing. And again, I look at the map, and if you see, this is the point where the rainfall becomes 70. So this particular point, you will have dry deciduous, this point wet deciduous. And so these are the two subparts of the deciduous forest which we have seen. And what are the trees here? It is Tendu, Palash, Amla, Bale, Kher, and Axlewood. In tropical deciduous forest, if you see, the number of trees and is a bit lesser because the other forest which we saw. And here, if you can see, thorn thorny type of forest is also existing. This is cactus growing here, and the trees, if you see, their height is lesser. A few minutes back, the forest which we were looking at, there the height was much high, and there were distinct layers. But here, if you see, the forest has become a bit lesser than that, and still it is uh, quite good. And you can see the tropical deciduous forest being shown here. Further, if I need to increase the size of this, यहाँ पर आप देखिए, again the trees are uh, not in 4 layers because this is deciduous forest. Now I can easily show you dry deciduous. You can see the trees are lesser. And now when I come to dry deciduous forest, the trees will become all the more lesser. Why? Because in the dry deciduous forest, the gap between the trees will be much more, and you will notice that, okay, the trees, the number of trees or the amount of uh, trees that are existing there, you can see it's coming to, because I had clicked on dry deciduous. That is why you can see the trees are very very far away. So you move further and you reach the place which is the desert area. So you can see how well a picture can speak 1,000 words. Here the picture which I'm showing you is from the dire deciduous forest. That is why it's like this. And the number of trees has become less. I can even show you all the trees mentioned, if possible. हाँ, now we are on tropical thorn forest. Tropical thorn forest को अगर हम देखें तो इसमें rainfall is between less than 50 centimeters, like, and the variety of grasses and scrubs are there. And what are the trees grown here? It is babool, bear, wild date, palm, kher, neem, and palash. So you can see the nature of the trees has also changed. And again, I should show you the map. This is the particular area we are talking about. This is the tropical thorn forest. And what should I do? I should also show you the pictures. And you can see, now you can see the picture of the uh, thorn forest. And this is the thorn forest of India. You can see the number of trees has reduced. Okay, you can notice this is exactly the trees mentioned there. And with this, we move on back to the next topic, the one which is uh, the mountain forest. Now, mountain forest is a very interesting topic. Now, on the mountains, the trees keep changing. And for that, I will be showing you another figure with which you will be able to understand the mountain forest. Here you can see all that is being shown here, but I will be showing it to you in a clear way along with the picture. So here, if you see, here I have made a mountain, and in this particular mountain, the lowest layer on the foothills you will find in the mountains deciduous forest. But when you go higher, because it says that deciduous forest exists in the foothills of the Himalayas, then you find wet temperate forest, which is mentioned here. So from 1000 to 2000 meter, you find the wet temperate forest. And further, you find that as you go higher, you find evergreen broadleaf forest with oak and chestnut, right? And still further, you find silver, juniper, and birch, which is existing from 3000 to 4000 meter. And between them is the blue pine and the spruce. So as you go higher on the mountain, the trees keep changing. So remember this figure. This figure you should draw it out because this figure will help you understand the whole topic very well. You can look at this figure. This figure is the best thing that can help you understand this topic. Yes. So here you can see the Himalayan range. In the extreme lower part, we find that foothills, we find deciduous forest, and as we move further, we find wet temperate, then evergreen broadleaf forest, and blue pine is existing at the height of 2225, which is mentioned here. The blue pine and silver fir are existing here. Then 3400 meters, this means at this particular height you find silver fir, juniper, and birch. So this particular figure will help you understand the whole thing, though it may not be very uh, clear, but this will become the base, and I will give you this particular figure separately also, so you can easily understand from that this particular figure will become the base for all this. And then it says at higher altitude, moss lichen will part of form a part of this particular vegetation. So with this, we move on to the next topic, which is the southern mountain. In the southern mountain, if you see, in the southern mountain, what do we find? That there are three distinct areas: the Western Ghats, the Vindhyas, and the Nilgiris. These are the three physical features that exist in this particular area, and the same are being shown here. And here, the vegetation may vary because Western Ghats is on the western side, Nilgiris will be on the other side, right? And further, you will see the Vindhyas. So this is on the basis of the physical location which they have shown. They have not gone in for the details here. So you should know that in the south also there are some mountains, but the highest mountains are the Himalayans. So for Himalayan mountains, I have already given you a method of learning in which you make a mountain and use that figure. Now, littoral and swamp forest. Now, littoral and swamp forest are the forest, if you see, in which you will find that a lot of, let me copy it. Huh. A lot of water is there. So there are, these are the wetland forest, and I will be showing you the different wetland forest. There are exactly different littoral forests mentioned here, and all the forests where there's the swampy areas are there. Wherever you have got wetlands, they are the ones which are covered under the heading of the littoral forest, right? So what do you need to remember? You need to remember one or two of them, not all of them, because that will become very difficult. But yes, Chilka Lake you can remember, right? And the wetland international importance of the wetlands you can understand. And what grows there? Here you can see mangroves are growing. So we mark that up also, that mangroves are growing in this particular area. And the area where the uh, estuaries means the river meeting the sea. Just like there is a delta, there is something called estuaries also. So those estuaries are also very important in this. And with this, we come to the fact that this particular forests are. I should show you how the mangrove forest look. That will be the best thing to do. So that is exactly what I'm going to do just now. Here you can see the littoral forest, and you can see how there is water everywhere, and on the water the trees are growing, and these have got hanging roots. And maybe I can show you more. You can see the water and the trees also. This means these are specific trees which can grow in the water also. Further, you can see people moving in the littoral forest, and how these forests have got hanging roots. This is very, very clear. And you can see water and the trees growing in such a area. This is Sundarban Delta, in which there are a number of hanging trees. A picture can say 1,000 words, and oh my God, this is worth looking. And you must have, oh my. So I think this much is enough for us. Uh, now, now this is a very important topic which we are doing: forest area and actual forest cover. Forest area is that area which government has notified that this is a forest. Forest area is a area which government has said that this is a forest area. If government says it's a forest, then you cannot build a house there. It is illegal. Actual forest cover means how much forest is existing in that particular area. So that will be your actual forest with canopy. Okay. So with this, we move to conservation of forest. Important thing that you need to understand is, from here, from forest cover, this important points, we move on to forest conservation and leave this area, and you need not concentrate on that. We simply move on to forest conservation. Now, forest conservation policies, if you see, they are the policies. What is the policy? That 33% area should be under forest, and we should maintain environmental stability. uh, and further, it also needs that we should maintain biological diversity of the forest. What do the forests do? They help in soil, in conserving soil. So they check soil erosion. And how can we increase the forest? By increasing social forestry and deforestation. And if we do that, the productivity of the forest will increase, and it will be able to provide this wood, timber, fuel, fodder, and various other things. And it will be able to, by creating uh, and converting it into a mass movement where people are involved. If women are involved, then forest can definitely be saved, because then if women are involved, then a family is involved. That is exactly what he is trying to say here. And then forest influence the life of everyone, because all the tribals and even all of us uh, are benefited from the forest. Even breathing is, we are dependent on trees, and trees are in the forest. So all of them. And with this, we move on to the next concept, and the next concept that I am going to look at it is social forestry. Now, under the social forestry, what I will look at is the fact that social forestry means management of forest and afforestation on the barren land. So under the social forestry, we have got three categories: urban forest, rural forest, and farm forest. Now, urban forests are the forests which are existing in urban areas. Urban areas are the areas like the city, etc. So the green belts, the parks, the roadside avenues, industries, and commercial, they are all a part of the urban forest. Now, rural forest exists in rural areas and for forest communities. Now, agroforestry means agriculture and forestry going hand in hand. Now, in agriculture, agroforestry, just like urban forest was for urban areas, rural forest is for rural areas. So wherever the people are, you are involving them. If you are involving the urban area and doing it in the urban area, urban forestry. If you are doing it in the rural area, rural forestry. Now, agroforestry, here the patches of land, etc., are used, and they are used for the community development. Community is involved in agroforestry. In If community is involved, then what will happen? They will never cut those forests. So that will be the beauty of involving the community. Now, how is farm forestry done? In farm forestry, what do we do? That farmers grow trees, Farmers grow trees, right? Further, what do we see? We come to wildlife, and when it look you look at wildlife, we see that India has got 4% of the wildlife of the world. That is a very high number, and that's a good thing to see. And how can wildlife be preserved? 5 marks question coming in the paper. Fun is important that how can it be preserved? We will do it later. Uh, Let us look at the another question, which is important reason why forests are declining. Why? Because industry has increased, technology has increased, because of which cutting of trees has increased. Forests are being cleared for making of roads, for making of human settlements, for doing agriculture, for mining. That's why forests are being reduced. Forests are also being reduced because people are cutting the trees and for fodder and fuel. Now, for grazing also is influencing the forest. Now, hunting is also taking place, and because of hunting also, a lot of forests are being reduced. If suppose there is no tiger, then there is no possibility of say preserving the forest, because presence of tiger, lion, these animals is this, that people have danger, and because of danger they don't go to the forest. If they don't go to the forest are preserved. So that is in the natural way by which forest can be preserved. But because of hunting, the number of predators are less, so people can go to the forest and cut the trees, and that is also one cause of declining of the forest. Incidence of forest fire, when forests catch fire because of high heat and friction, that can also be one of the major cause. Now we come to wildlife conservation. In our Indian culture, the story of Panchtantra and the Jungle Book, they are very important. And in 1972 we made comprehensive wildlife act, and it had two objectives. What are the two objectives of this comprehensive wildlife act? You can notice the objective of the uh, act was to protect the endangered species, right? To protect the endangered species, and we see, and to conserve the areas of the country classified as national park. So endangered species, and to protect the uh, various areas which were a part of the national park. So we have got 103 national parks, 535 wildlife sanctuaries, and UNESCO has a program of man and biosphere program. And so there are some special programs which we have launched, like the Project Tiger and Project Elephant. Now, Project Tiger, if you see, the main objective is to maintain viable population of uh, tigers. So that's the main objective, right? So that the tigers may not come to an end. And this was launched, and we can see the number of tiger population has increased. Then another important project was launched, and that was Project Elephant. Here we tried to save the elephant, because the natural habitat of the elephants were also being in danger. So to protect the elephants, we made this particular thing. And with this we come to a biosphere reserve. A question may come, what is a biosphere reserve? Now, this definition of biosphere reserve is good for you to remember. It's a uh, unique area, and it has got its own ecosystem, right? And what do we find? Man and Biosphere program is a important program which has been taken up, and here you can see where there are 10 biosphere reserves. The name of the reserves are here. The ones which are bold, you can see, are the ones which are more important as compared to the other ones. And out of these particular biosphere reserve, you see, uh, biosphere reserve, it conserves the biodiversity and leads to development also. And the logistic support, these are the objectives of biosphere reserve. This box explains you so well these objectives. Further, you can move on to the fact that biosphere reserves, these are the biosphere reserves mentioned in the book, which you can see. Uh, if we have to do it in map work, I will let you know which one. And here you can see the Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve is called as NAP. And further, I notice that in Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve, the most important thing is that it includes largest number of two endangered animals. Okay, there are two endangered animals which are preserved in this, so you should know that. And one is the loin-tail makuk, and the other is Nilgiri thar, right? And elephant, tiger, gaur, sambhar, chital, all of these animals are worth looking. And you can see the habitat here is, it says that a number of tribal groups are living in this particular area, and tribals do not disturb the animals because they are living with them harmoniously. Why? Because this is how the culture of the tribals is. They consider the life of animals also important. And here then we come to the Nanda Biosphere Reserve, and here you can see it is existing in Chamoli. The area covered is being shown here, which I have highlighted for you. And then silver fir, orchid, and these are the trees. And then we come to the uh, animals like black bear, brown bear, musk, है ना, snow, and golden eagle, black eagle, all of them are existing here. And major threat to this ecosystem is that because of medicinal use of the forest, uh, and forest fire and poaching, also a lot of them animals are, they are under threat. Now we come to the Sundarbans. Sundarban, I showed you the picture of Sundarbans a few minutes back in today's class only. So here you can see the Bengal tigers, and you can see the different the different fish also, and different uh, in the water bodies there may be different animals existing like shrimps. And you have got cheetal, bear, barking deer, wild pig, and makuks. With this, we come to the last important topic, that is the Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve. These are the four which are mentioned in the book. And here you can see it has got marine biosphere perspective, and it has got endangered sea cow. And that's the name of this particular thing. How worthy it could be if I can show all of them to you. And I think I should make a PPT to show you all these animals separately. And thank you, children, for your patience. If you see, sandalwood is found in the deciduous forest. You can mark that. And further, uh, which one of the following, what is the purpose of Project Tiger? It is to protect tigers from illegal hunting. You can highlight that. And in which state Nanda Devi? It is in Uttarakhand. You can mark that. Then it says um, here, this has changed. In the past it was, now it has become 10, right? So you can mark that. And then what percentage of forest should be under the forest cover? It is 33%. Now I should thank you, children, for sparing your time to see this video. And if a bit of it is not seen by you and the class gets over, you can repeat it again and again and learn this. Thank you.